Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Big Bend Fishing Report. Tonight we're going to talk about current conditions and the future forecast for the next month. Talk about tides, weather, and
what's coming up.
Yeah, so we'll kick off.
Mascot.
Yeah, we'll kick it off with some current conditions. The water temps are skyrocketing.
Everything's hot.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't been up here. The last couple of weeks, I've been down south chasing tarpon and stuff. And I know it was the same up here. You guys got a little more rain than what we got down there, but it got really, really hot. And I know the water temperature, I'm sure it did up here too, just shot from like the low 80s up to the upper 80s, like 89, 90 degrees. And whenever it does that, you can see a big difference in the way the fish react and where they go. And I'm sure it did up here too.
Yeah, I literally fished one day and it was 85, 86. The next day it was 89.9 in one day. And I mean, it's common to get a swing like that. But two days before that, it was 79.
Yeah.
And it skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Well, we had all that high wind and we had, rain. So the combination between the wind and the rain, all that wind blowing water in from offshore, we had flood tides, kept that temperature down.
Yeah.
And we had some big flood tides while you were gone.
Yeah.
I was red fishing in areas that are normally dry land, which typically we don't do a lot here.
Yeah. Yeah. It was down there too. And like I said, the conditions weren't much different. I mean, we're still on the West Coast and we had the tides down there, but like I said, the noticeable thing was the air temperature and the water temperature, how quickly they climbed the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been doing fishing and scalloping. I'll just touch on scalloping a little bit real quick. Scalloping's been great.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best years I've seen.
How are the sizes?
They're on the smaller side. We are filtering through them, throwing back the small ones, keeping the more mature ones. It's early season. They're always going to be smaller.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people doesn't realize, like some of these people are pushing, we need to push it back, but you're going to kill the population. They only live a year to a year and a half max.
And you're only taking half limits right now. So, right. I mean, you can filter through. You don't need to keep everyone you pick up because you're going to be done, from what I've heard, you're going to be done in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Even filtering them, you're done in 30 minutes.
That's what I mean. So, take your time and, enjoy it. I've had some clients call me up and they're like, how long are we going to be out there? And I'm like, it depends how long you want to be out there. We're liable to just be swimming for the last 2 hours if you want to stay out for a little while. But, if they're really easy to pick up, typically you pick your limit up even at full limits in 45 minutes or so.
You got someone picking on Pat already.
Oh, man.
Dakota, my son, said Pat needs a haircut.
I've been told that a long time.
But yeah, the scallops have been good. The water clarity and color has been perfect for scallop season.
Yeah. Where are you going? Approximately.
In the Gulf.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're
going out of Keaton, though, right?
Yeah, I'm primarily going out of Keaton. I do have some upcoming trips out of Steinhatchee.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say,
I've heard the farther north you go, the darker the water gets.
Yes. I will say, though, the one nice thing this year is there's so many scallops all over the place that it's not as crowded. People are spread out.
Well, and that's the one thing. I mean, a lot of people, you always, you see on all the social media stuff and everybody says, well, where do I go? What do I do? And the first response you see is look for the boats. That is true. However, I used to always tell, clients that would do, they'll do it on their own. Obviously, they'll go with you one day. And I always tell them, you can look for the boats, but as you're approaching the fleet, stop an hour, stop, half a mile away, 3/4 of a mile away, go over the side and look. I said, you're liable to find more than you'll ever see. I said, if you go up to where all the boats are, there's a lot of people picking scallops out of there.
Yeah.
So, chances are they're going to be a little thinner.
So the big crowd the big crowds have been in the same places every day, and I've been away from them,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stand it. I said, I got to go see.
There's less scallops there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It would make sense.
yeah.
I mean, you can only pick so many scallops up, and they replenish, but they don't replenish that fast.
No, and honestly, I'm finding them from anywhere I've mainly been going on the low tide. I like to take people on the low tide. 2.5 feet all the way. I mean, all the way as deep as you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thick.
Yeah, I would imagine an early season like this too. Because they're still kind of they live for the most part in 8 to 10 foot of water most of the year, and then as the water warms, they slide in with it.
So, but we'll move on from that. We'll talk about some fishing. It's been all over the place. What we talked about the last time we were on is, spring bite. We were waiting, and it hit.
Mm-hmm.
But we mentioned we hoped it didn't go from
winter to summer.
From winter to summer. Well, it went from winter to summer. But the fish don't know where to be. Now, I've had some good days, Pat. I know you've had some good days.
What's the problem is the WIND. The water clarity is defining where the bite will be, and it's where the water is darker or you need breeze. And if it's blowing 15 knots, you're going to have a better day than you are when there's no wind at all. And these calm days, you're basically wasting your time out there. Those fish are feeding at night because they're there. If they weren't there when the wind was blowing, I'd say, well, I don't have any idea what they're doing. But think about it. A fish that tries to feed in the daytime for a week and doesn't get anything to eat is eventually nature is going to make that fish feed 24/7 instead of just in the daytime and when it's clear. And when the water is so clear that those pinfish or any bait fish can stay away from in a proximity and keep that trout from being able to get a hold of him, then he's going to eat what he can get a hold of. And what he's going to be able to get a hold of is a shrimp at night, because one, the shrimp's not looking for him, from what I understand. And two, he's got more of them when he gets to that water. Now, the fish that we're catching in less than 4 foot of water on these moon tides that I fish, which I try to fish my trips either on the full or new moon, because I want that water flow. They're eating some fish, but they're basically struggling. You and I talk about it every time you call me or I call you after a trip. What was in their stomachs? Nothing. What was in the stomachs? Nothing. This has been going on all year, and it's the 6th month, almost 7th this week. So these fish are having a hard time that are in shallow water, which means they're moving out of that shallow water. They're not coming into it. If they're having that hard a time in that, and these are, whether they're 15 inches or 18 and a half, doesn't matter. These fish don't have anything in their stomachs. And when I find a fish here or there, which I've seen, one pilchard the other day, was the first pilchard I've seen in one. They don't have 3, they got 1. So they're having a hard time. This means that your approach or your thesis of how to catch them needs to be stick and move. You don't need to stay anywhere very long. If you don't have much of a drift, you got to crank that boat up and move it. And you got to set a rule for yourself every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes or whatever, or you'll spend your day on 6 drifts without any fish. So you got to move, and you got to completely wipe your mind of where the next fish is going to be. Don't try to anticipate it, but make your move laterally, not along the same line you're on, not on the same. Move a deeper depth and give it the same amount of time. If you change your approach of how long you give them, you're not proving anything on the new ground. And I call it proving the ground. Is it the real estate or is it me? Is it the real estate or is it me? And once you find what you need as far as the depth, the length of leader, the weight of the jig, if you're bouncing a jig, or the color of the plug or whatever it is. I don't think you can throw a plug now because there's too much floating grass out there. That grass let go about 86 degrees, and it is just, you can't hardly even fish a cork and grub combo. but you may need a longer leader. We used to call them B-52s after a friend of mine in Sylvester, Georgia called it that. He had 8-foot rods, 8-foot Loomis rods,
Oh, okay.
and he could throw it out of sight. And of course, set the hook at that distance because it was a medium heavy. It wasn't a light rod. And his attitude was, come and get me, go to hell. And that's a nice, if you don't. In other words, come and get me or go to hell. And he caught a lot of fish. He's a good fisherman anyway. But electric chicken on a B-52 was what we went to when the water got this hot. And the reason was that as that water, that if you go out there scalloping and you got out in 8 feet of water, you get in one of these ditches and you come out of that 88 degrees and you go down on the bottom and pick up that scallop, it's 20 degrees different.
Oh, yeah, it's cold.
It isn't 10 degrees.
Yeah,
Right.
It's noticeable.
It's 20. So that trout is fat and sassy, happy. That means that trout's down there. Let's just say the trout's down there in 70 degrees instead of 90. Why would he come to the surface?
Right.
And when they freak out and come to the surface and spit the shrimp, it's because they don't hate you. They don't hate being hooked. They hate that water temperature.
They don't like that water.
And they're freaking out in that water temperature being high. So don't argue with it. Throw the longest leader you can. Get the rod that you have, the longest rod. It needs to be over 7 feet to throw that thing, and learn to throw it. But don't have a boatload of 6 people going scalloping with you when you do it.
Right.
Because somebody get hooked in the nose, ear, nose, or throat, as we used to say.
So, I do use pop, of course, the long leaders, but another option is a drop shot rig.
Okay. Yeah, just to get down deep, down into that lower water column.
Yep.
Now, do you think if in the mornings when it's cooler, especially if we've had rain the night before, the afternoon before, that those fish would move in a little bit with a little bit of cooler water?
I mean, I've been
And then move
fishing
out?
in. I have been fishing in and catching fish, but
Me too.
you've got to cover some water,
Right.
and it's very
They know it's
concentrated.
going to warm up again.
Yeah, and it's concentrated areas.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You got to hit that. And Pat will probably agree with me. Even though they're in there,
Mhm. They might not eat.
they're on the move and they might not eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bite window. I'll tell you what I did the last time I scouted ahead of a trip was a Sunday, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. I'm not sure. But anyway, when I got a bite, I had 5 trout on 5 casts. It was 12:34, and the high tide was 122. Well, I had been making the same cast. I was using pinfish, and I was getting a bite every 6 casts, maybe 5, 6 casts. Not saying I caught a fish, but getting a bite. And then all of a sudden, I caught a trout. Bam, bam, a 24-inch mixed in there, 2 shorts and 2 keepers. And then the end of the drift, and as I turned back around, when I went back around and made my scoot over, try it again, I didn't get a bite. That water movement at that point was slowing down, and they took it as did you eat?
Time to eat.
I call it the last hurrah bite.
Mm-hmm.
It was a change in the tidal current.
Yep.
And if you're not in the right place and you're not on your fish when that comes and you don't know when that's going to happen, you can miss it completely. And those fish would have bit for you.
And see, that's something else. That's the difference, like on someone that's out there all the time, not necessarily a guide. I mean, obviously
where
the
to be.
guides, we know where the depressions are. We know where the current changes are.
Mhm.
And that's what makes the difference on a day when we come back to the ramp and the biologist there and
It's
says,
tough. Yeah.
well, I've only checked 3 fish. How do you have a limit? Well, how do I have a limit? Because we know, hey, there's not much water movement here,
right.
but over here on this particular flat, there's a trough here, there's a pothole here, there's a drain here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we fish. Because what do all those things create?
Yeah. Create current.
They create current. Because current speeds up around those
Right.
Mm-hmm.
those pinch
And they're
points.
funnels.
Pinch.
Yeah.
Well, we're no better fishermen than anybody else when the fish are biting. Everybody's the same. But we're a damn sight better than you are when it's tough.
Yeah.
And the tougher it is, the more we have to work and the more time we have spent working.
And we still struggle.
Yeah, and we don't still struggle, but what I'm saying is we have
We have
eliminated
options.
we have eliminated the standard fishing during those times. We don't do it. We've got to go to a special area, and we've got to find that pinch of current. We got to fish a rock pile that's high so the water sweeps past it fast, or we got to fish a trough or a hump or a mound, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
but a high spot. The difference is we're not going to fish it there for an hour. We're going to put it in the right place for 15 minutes, and we're gone to the next one.
Yep.
Because we don't know. We're not clairvoyant. We don't know ahead of time whether or not there are fish on that particular one. We just know how many times we've caught fish there in the past, in winter and in summer, because the oxygen is the movement of the water.
Yep.
And you're eliminating water. You're
the fish-
you're coming up and
Right.
like you say, you pull in. You know, I don't know how many times I've had cast out there, and you got that one slow client. You know that he gets it out there. 5 minutes behind everybody, and you're saying reel them all in. And he's like, I just got it out. I'm like, well, they've been out and they didn't get bit. You're not going to sweep through there and get bit.
Right.
Of course, when he's reeling in, he gets bit.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well, Pat and I were talking, and we were talking about a certain area where someone was catching some fish,
Mhm.
and I ran up there. Well, everything had changed, literally, overnight. I went up there and it was catfish.
Yeah.
But the water got super dark. So I moved to it was clean, but it was just dark.
Yeah, just dark.
So I moved to a little lighter stained water, and the fish were stacked right there.
Yeah, and it seems to be the kind of the pattern this whole year is. I mean, I've seen it ever since we got off the airboats and started fishing out of the regular boats again. Is fish that are in an area aren't there long this year.
No.
I mean, I don't know if it's lack of food or what it is, but I mean, I had fish on an oyster bar. I had 3 different groups of fish on oyster bars, and they stayed for like a week. And that's unusual because they don't get a lot of pressure up here. So
No.
the redfish especially don't leave those areas unless there's no food there.
Well, and we talked about this environmental impacts and how it changes the fishery.
Oh, yeah.
And there's areas where I know basically around what date those fish are going to be there, and it's every year like clockwork. And you know what I'm talking about, Pat. You're the same way. This year, the last 2 years, it really hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
Ever since all the hurricanes, it's changed.
Well, yeah, and what's changed to me more than anything is food.
Yep.
Bait, schools of bait. I don't mean seeing a bait, but when you go and fish for 6 hours and you see 3 minnows knocked out of the water all day for 6 hours, you go, wait a minute. I was thinking about it the other day. I can tell you that in the 90s, and I know that I'm old and that's ancient, but I want to tell you how much different it is. When we drove back to Keaton from fishing in front of Warrior, we very seldom went much further than Warrior. We didn't have to. But you would have birds following you, picking up the ballyhoo
Out of your prop
from you
wash.
running from your prop wash for 1.5 miles, 2 miles.
Mhm.
And it would start about Sullivan Camp and run to Deacle, and then boom. And the thing that was most fascinating was that your wake set a foam line, and those ballyhoo would jump out of the water because they thought that foam line shadow was going to get them.
Bird.
And they would jump, and the birds would grab them. So the birds were working. They weren't working where I cut them up because those sink. The ones that came out of the water were running from the prop wash, and there was that much bait there. I hadn't seen a school of bait the size of this table this year of ballyhoo.
Yeah.
So each year, each subsequent year, and with the hurricanes, it's killing, and the red tide down south is killing so much whitebait. These fish lost 3 things this year. They lost their way, apparently, with the. Okay, I know that's funny, but they did. And the reason they did is they don't have a dark water set from that mill to go to. So the fish, for however many years, 30, 40, 50 years, have been seeking that dark water, and the bait seeks that dark water to hide. There's not going to be any difference. So that bait fish that comes from South Florida is just going to keep on going to St. Mark's.
And we had a relatively dry year. You know, we've had a little bit of rain recently, but it really hasn't been a lot.
But whether he's attracted to the brackish, which I don't think he is, and we discussed that, some information that we learned. Though I think the water's salty running all up in the swamp. And so those fish are not moving from one. When you move from one thing to another, that's nature. There's no volition there, and they don't have any memory. So they don't know they're going over here. They move over there because the conditions they feel
That's
and
what
what
they're
they
looking for.
sense. They can't find food, they can't find color, and they can't find the brackish water they're looking for. And that's why, as you said, the best word that Kenny and I talked about, scattered is what you said.
Yeah.
And scattered is the answer. And that changes the way you have to fish.
So one thing I did is, this time of year, I start throwing pinfish under popping cork, cut bait under popping cork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not throwing it as much right now because the fish are scattered.
Right.
So what I've really been using and having most success on is the 5-inch panhandle
Panhandle moon.
panhandle moon.
I have to tell him his color.
I knew panhandle.
I know what it looks like.
I was drawing a blank there for a minute, but I've been throwing that more because I can cover more water.
It's a search bait. Yeah, you're searching.
I'm using it as a search bait. I'm not working it as slow as normal. I'm putting a heavier jig head on there so that I
You're
can
trying to see a reaction.
right.
And
Yeah.
the reason the panhandle moon is working for him is where he's fishing it in that stained water, the back of that bait, the color of the back is the same as the water.
Yep.
Now, if you pull south or you pull offshore and you get in clear water, that panhandle moon is not going to match that color change. And so you're going to have to adjust.
Mhm.
And one of my favorites over the years, this time of year, is called croaker shad.
Yep.
And it's twice as light or 3 times as light on the palate side,
Right.
regardless of what it actually looks like to them. So it's going to be better for out deeper or cleaner water. You're going to have a different bait on a different rod, folks,
Yep.
to go inshore. You can't take your favorite toy that's working in 6 feet and 8 feet of water color-wise and go inshore with it, nor vice versa. It's not going to work. And it would if we had the mill pumping out that color and the color difference. There wasn't a difference in the watercolor for 5 or 6 miles
Right.
unless we got a west wind and then the catfish came, remember?
Yep.
And that was, the water.
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
Northwest. When it blew from the northwest, it stirred that
Catfish
water up
were
dirty.
coming.
And the catfish,
Yeah.
they like the fact that it's stirred up because they can track a scent.
So, talking about the different color, so one of the best times to fish for black sea bass. Everyone thinks winter, winter, winter. Right now is a good time to fish for black sea bass. Winter is good. Don't get me wrong, but when it's tough and it's slick out, you run out. You're going to put some in the boat. But what colors do we normally catch them on right now?
Pink,
You know what I'm catching them on?
white,
Brown glass minnow, little P and V.
brown glass mineral pink.
And that
I know the last time I was out, it was that color right there.
that brown glass minnow, I threw Laguna, and I threw brown glass minnow, and I was catching.
If you'll take chicken on a chain with,
I threw chicken on the
if
chain
you'll
too.
take chicken on a chain and cut the tail off, you'll catch the hoo-hoo out of them because they can't stand that one.
But I guess it's just the water clarity. That brown glass minnow,
Yeah.
I was catching bigger ones and more.
Do
It could
you
be.
have any panhandle moon sea sheds?
I don't. I
If you
want some.
did, you
I
would-
do want some.
If you did, you would be saying that for the black sea bass.
Probably,
They'll eat him up too.
but
Yeah.
I do need to get some.
I went through a full string of them that's 56 baits in about, I don't know, a month and a half. It doesn't take long. They eat them up.
So I'm gonna hit a few comments real quick because there's a couple of them on here. There's one good story that I
Yeah.
want to share, and I wish I would have pulled the picture to share it. First one, Dakota is asking, how do you know when to throw what colors? Fish and find out? Question mark.
I mean,
Go ahead.
it is trial and error.
Yeah.
I mean, you can there's so many different, and if you ask the three of us, I mean, we're going to be close in what we pick, but I mean, we're going to pick three different colors usually. And to me, it's always come down, you kind of get in a, like you said a minute ago, a palette of colors that, kind of resemble what you're looking to do. And then you kind of just try that, and whatever you gain confidence in is the one you're going to catch the most fish on.
And a lot of it's water clarity.
Exactly. So, I mean, if it's clean, clear water,
light
obviously
conditions,
lighter colors, and darker water like we get, use, at least darker back colors.
Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? I mean, all of that plays a factor.
Yeah.
Well, let me have it for a minute.
Have at it.
The simplest way to play it is this. If the wind is blowing over 15 miles an hour or the water is dark, you throw a solid color, a solid yellow, solid chartreuse or lime truce, a solid white. Okay. Because you're not getting, and with the cloud cover, you're not going to need glitter. You throw your glitter baits and turn the glitter up on the upside of them, which means you need to throw the sea shed instead of the 5-inch so it'll work properly. And throw the glitter baits when you have sun shining, because the glitter doesn't work. If it's 15 knots, the glitter's not getting any light penetration to it. But the way that the color selector, true color selector for me for 25 years was candy corn under a cork. Now here's why I threw it. I already knew what color I was going to throw because I knew it would catch fish in any condition, which is candy corn. Electric chicken's the same way, and the chicken on a chain. So pick those three and have them in your box. Now here's what you do. You put it in the water on your without a jig until you can't see it and stop. Then you mark that difference and tie that off. When that bait cannot be determined by you, and you're the human being with the larger brain considerably, right? Because their brain,
Some people.
on your boat or on my boat. Dad used to say, it takes all kinds to make a world.
It
Dad.
does.
And I'd say, yeah, but why do they all have to get on my boat, Dad? Let's go back to it. The fish, which color disappears right before it hits the bottom is the color you want, because the shrimp, when you put a live shrimp on a hook and drop him down, right when he disappears, that's the disappearing point.
Yep.
And so when that color in your hand looks the same as bright color as it was before you put it in the water, it's not the one you want, because it's going to catch short trout. Now, when you take the color and it disappears at half of the water column, then if you don't fish it at half the column, they're not going to see it down there. So that color is too natural or too blasé.
Yeah.
All right. In other words,
It blends too
let
well.
the conditions, as Kenny says, the conditions pick the color because it's light. It's nothing but light, folks. The reason three different colors will work for us the same day at the same time, and we're in three different places, maybe 10 miles apart, is we have the right amount of light reflection and the right amount of light absorption. And that bait is what looks
Right.
natural to him. And you find it by knowing which colors work in those groups on the palette. In other words, you know which colors beside that one, and you step to the next one.
And then it becomes trial and
But
error.
if you go
for
out to this end, you got white, and you go over to that end, and you've got a dark bait
Dark
like
brown,
this one. You got a black back bait. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't throw white. We know a captain at the Keaton Beach that's all he does throw.
I do
used
throw
to
white
throw
at
all
times.
the time.
I do throw white at times, especially winter.
I don't throw it, and
I've
And I
learned you
have
can't
it.
keep ladyfish off white.
Well, this time of year especially.
Yeah.
That's why I said like late fall, early winter, white
Yeah.
works pretty good.
well, see, anytime white works, I'm throwing pink, and it's working good. But
Yeah.
but that pink
That time of
goes-
year you can throw pretty much anything.
that
to be
pink
honest with
goes
you.
well. I don't know if I'd say that.
I mean, colors a lot of times. I mean, we've all heard of, some of these bait companies, they make 1,000 different colors
to catch the fishermen.
to catch the fishermen. There's a lot of them, but there are some staples that, that you always go back. If you go and look at which color all these manufacturers, Z-Man, Assassin, Mirrorlure,
Houdini.
look at the colors that
Houdini.
they all make, or they might be named different things.
Yep.
but chicken on chain. I don't think any of them call it but chicken on chain. They may look slightly different, but every bait company makes that color.
Yep.
I mean, those are colors they're proven sellers because they catch fish. The pretty ones catch the fishermen. And there's times they work. It's like I said, it's if you throw anything long enough, you're going to catch a fish on it.
Oh yeah. So speaking of that, let's hit another comment. So Jason Byer says, Kenny, have you ever caught a cobia on a cricket? And I don't know if you guys have seen this story on Facebook,
Yeah.
but Jason's grandson, well, Jason's son, Gabe, and Jason's grandson went out fishing.
It was on Wilson's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So they're friends of mine.
Yeah.
And they caught a keeper cobia
On a cricket.
on a brim hook at that.
Well,
Even
cobia
better.
is one of the stupidest fish there is. Because you can catch if there's 6 of them in a school, you can catch every dang one of them, and they'll just say, hey, what about me? Can I have something?
They will eat
I
anything.
mean, they are stupid. The only
Yeah.
fish dumber than a cobia is a hogfish. The hogfish wins the prize.
Dolphins right there.
Yeah. But cobia, if they're hungry and they're in an eating mood, it just doesn't matter.
But that's awesome that boy,
that is. That's a cool way
the
to do it.
lightest rod on the boat.
He'll remember that rest of his life.
I can
Oh, yeah.
honestly say I've never heard of anybody catching one on a cricket.
No.
But I've never thought of trying one either.
I would say
It
Eddie
just doesn't come up.
Yeah,
Eddie
I like
Wyman
crickets
said,
on the
"Hey,
boat."
hey, Eddie." Yeah, so let's talk about tides for next month, and I had it pulled up.
We're gonna have high and low.
We're going to have high and low.
And then it's going to go low and high.
We are going to have high and low. However,
You know what?
we've got the new moon
I
and
think we
full
got
moon.
3 moons in that next month, don't we?
Kind of. So this week we're into full moon.
Right.
So this weekend we're going to have some good water
Mhm.
movement, and then basically the 11th through the 17th, 18th. That's the new moon week. If you're going to pick a week to fish in July, I would pick that week.
Yeah. Yeah. To
Yeah.
fish.
What's
to
the
fish.
when's the new moon?
It should be like the
10th?
12th or 13th.
Yeah, the new moon is the 14th. So if you come like the 11th, even into the 18th, you're gonna have a decent water movement.
Yeah. I always tell everybody, especially, all year long it matters, but it really matters what we do in the wintertime with the airboat. So I always tell everybody usually 3 or 4 days either side of the moon.
It's
Are
on
the-
the
are your better
backside. The
tides.
backside's a better tide.
Always.
Not at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And because it's growing.
But you'll have good moving water 3 or 4 days on each side.
Yeah, on each
it gets
side.
better obviously as you get
Yeah.
to the moon, and then once you get past it. But there's times I'm not always a big fan of fishing, especially at the new moon. I don't care, but the full moon, I'm not a big fan of fishing after the moon. Because you got that. It's later and later every night, so you have a lot of moon, a lot of light all night long. And I've never been a big proponent of these fish, especially inshore fish feeding at night. However, I'm sure they do, obviously. So, if you have bright moonlight from say 10 o'clock to 4 in the morning, I think it makes that early morning bite a little bit tougher.
We'll see. One thing about the full moon at the end of July is it's actually going to be in the mornings, the peak of the full.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So that
shifted off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's July 25th. I was looking. It's dead low is at 8:30 in the morning, and that's the peak of the
That's when
brightest
straight
moon.
overhead.
Yeah, straight overhead, which is going to be good.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, your best solunars are, obviously the strong times is always moon straight up, moon straight down.
Yeah.
So, anytime you're fishing and you look up and see the moon, you're probably, according to the, tables, you should be in a decent bite.
You see it at all?
Yeah, in the daytime you can see the moon.
You know how I was raised? Anytime you see the moon, look, doing this in the daytime, it's dumping water, the fishing sucks. If it's dumping water. Now, if it's holding water, the fishing's good
You fish for bass as a kid.
in the day. I fish for crappie and brim.
Saltwater
and
fish
everything else.
don't need water. They got
Hey,
to
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that if the water, you watch when the moon's holding water and when it's dumping water, and come back and talk to me about saltwater. I've been doing that for 30
I'm never going to look at it, to be honest with you.
No, I was like, if I see it up there, I know the saw owner should be in a good phase.
But
I'm just saying, as the kids say.
it is, I do pay more attention to the tide swings this time of year.
Yeah.
Because you combine the heat
You got to.
in
Just absolutely.
Well, this time of year, water movement is more important
very
than
important.
it is in the winter time.
Very,
or in
very
the,
important.
You know, early spring, late
because
fall.
there's not as much oxygen
Right.
in hot water.
Yep.
The dissolved oxygen is about a third less than it is in. I think that's right. I think it's at about 60% of what it is in the colder
Yeah,
water.
and you can tell by the way the fish fight. You know, your fish wear out a lot quicker when you're fighting. You look at 30-inch redfish, you know, in the early spring or late fall or winter, that fish fights a lot harder than he will right now.
And typically this time of year, and I know Pat's a little different. I like to
Yes,
trout.
we know Pat's a little bit.
I almost forgot what I was going to say now. But the trout, my favorite time to fish for trout is in the peak of that tide swing, that mid tide swing when there's the most water movement.
Right.
On the fall.
Either one.
Okay.
Either one. It's just where I'm going to fish is going to be different.
Yeah.
But I want the maximum amount of water movement.
Absolutely.
Where in the spring and fall, I like that window, that 2-hour window before and after the slack.
As it's coming up and going
The
down.
peak in the heat of the summer, I like a lot of water movement, and it's because oxygen.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what I've said for years is that the stand of tide on the high is about 20 minutes where you don't get a bite.
Mhm.
And I have caught my biggest trout over
That
the
stand.
years in that stand. And the big trout in shallow water, and I mean big, good fish. The last really big fish was 31 inches long. The water was 99 degrees. And
Good God.
we caught him with went redfish, hit that trout, redfish. And we were pinned up on a bar in 2 feet of water, and it was 99 degrees. But my point is, without it being April, where we used to catch the 7-pound trout at Keaton, it was all in April. I never caught them in other months. But in the hot weather, hot water, they'll feed in that stand of tide because that pinfish isn't moving.
Can't get away.
Because that crab's not moving. And some reason they know it, and they're big now. I'm talking about over 25-inch trout. They feed that point.
They don't have to exert as much energy to feed.
Yeah.
They don't have
And they've
to
been around a
exert as
little
much.
while.
Yeah.
And
They got it figured out.
And we don't have as many of those fish as we used to, but it was during that time. But back to it, the stand of tide to me is 40 minutes to an hour on low, where you're wasting your time. It's time to eat a sandwich, and of course, my crew has already eaten an hour before that.
They were eating through the good part.
Yeah. I figured that out several years ago. Why did they stop? When you take their picture, best fish of the day, the bite's going on, it's taking off, and you look and they're in the cooler, and you go, I used to go, ballistic, screaming at them. What in the
What are you
world's
doing?
wrong with you? It's time to fish. It's not time to eat. Well, I figured out what this is about. The brain and the stomach, okay, are different organs, and they don't talk to each other.
No, they're on different time
And
frames.
the stomach goes, I know you like your brain a whole lot better than you like me. But if I shut you down, it's over. Your brain, you can go into a coma, and I'll keep you alive as long as you eat. But if you don't eat when there's time, but what it is the brain says, oh, we got what we wanted. And the dopamine comes in, and they go, oh, pictures and grandma, and look, baby fish, look, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden, and the stomach says, remember me?
Yeah.
I'm
Still here.
I know you brought salami because I saw it. Now get that
The
sandwich
eyes
out.
told me.
And they're sitting there eating. And so I don't get upset anymore. But the first 10, 12 years I guided, I came off of working 14 of my fun fishing was 14-hour bass days. And I might eat a cheese cracker, but I never carried a sandwich for 13 years, 100 days a year. You ate when you went home. You didn't eat on the water.
I got a quick story for you on that same thing. When I first started guiding, so this is almost 30 years ago, I had two guys, big guys. They were big boys. They were bigger than me. We get on, we go to a spot. As I'm down El Pasco, I'm down Sam Bay. We are catching redfish. It's like 11 o'clock. We're catching redfish one after another. Just stupid. They reel me in, I unhook, and one guy goes, he goes, "You hungry?" Looks back, goes, "Cap, can we go somewhere and eat?" I'm looking at a school of 500 redfish going, yeah. And we did. We left a school of redfish like that, drove away, and went and ate it. Again, it was Hooters on the water up there.
Yep.
Yep. Best part was we get done eating. They're like, "Think those fish will still be there?" I was like, "Yeah, no."
You said what?
I said, "Yeah, no." They won't be. But, you know, it's just like what you say. And as guides, we've learned that it's not about what we want to do.
That's right.
That much. You know, you have certain clients that it's all about fishing that, like Pat said, they bring cheese crackers and they nibble on them through the day.
Typically, those people, they know when to come. Though.
Yeah.
And they
They're
know when
always
to
here at the
fish.
best time. Or they
Right.
ask. They
Or-
call
yeah.
and say, "Hey, when should we be there?"
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best ones.
Or they don't call and ask anymore because they already know
They
because
know.
they fished with you enough. So speaking of that, you know, I know it's early. We're already starting to book some fall and winter
Oh, yeah.
stuff. So we talked about trout. Let's talk about redfish a little bit. You know, red fishing is good right now. The redfish are here.
I haven't caught a damn redfish in 3 weeks.
Well, that's because you've been targeting fish.
True.
The redfish are here, but they can be tough if you're not doing the right thing, you're not in the right place. And just because you see them doesn't mean you're in the right
Right.
place, because some of these fish, you know,
Hate you.
yeah, and they're hot.
Yeah. Redfish are probably I equate them to like your dogs. You know, they're either 100 miles an hour or they're on the couch laying sideways, soaking up the air conditioning. And, you know, I've always, in the summertime especially now, I don't know, is there a lot of mullet around?
No.
Okay.
No.
It always, and it doesn't matter what time of year, if I can find a school of redfish around, or I can find any redfish around mullet, they're going to
eat. Yeah, they're going to eat. So the best bet right now is to find some structure a little deeper, in that 3.5 foot range. Rocks, you know,
Say, is there any other structure?
mainly rocks. Well,
Blow down.
Yeah.
well, there's
Rip wrap.
there's some underwater bars.
Yeah, no.
Amen.
I'm
That-
messing with you.
Just
Yeah.
rock pile. You don't need to say structure.
There's rocks
Well-
everywhere.
Well, there is some other structure, sponges.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, I'm even seeing them on sponge patches,
Yeah.
which a lot of people doesn't even know sponges. But anyways,
Well, this is a time of year, you know, I noticed from the last few years that, you know, one cast you'll catch a sea bass, and next cast you'll catch a redfish.
right. And generally, when you see them, if the water's clear enough, you can see them. They are tight to those rocks.
Yeah.
They're in the shade, and I'm talking bigger rocks.
Yeah.
You know, not your little flat rocks where they're trying to get warm.
And should be starting to see some bigger fish too.
Yeah, there's some
In the
bigger
summer.
fish. There's some big schools out roaming. I typically don't try to chase those big schools.
Yeah.
You know,
Too many eyes.
too many eyes, and it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, you're either going to have an epic time, or you're going to get your butt handed to you trying to catch them.
Yeah, and the thing with schools that I've always noticed, especially here, is if you find a school that won't stop, that just you got to keep kind of moving with, those are the tough ones. If you get a
Yeah.
school that'll move to an oyster bar and just start, you know, just
Working.
milling around it and hanging out there,
Circling the wagon.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's those fish are looking to feed.
But most of your reds right now that are consistent are your mid slot, your lower to mid slots, and they're on those rock piles. You know, you can't go wrong throwing, honestly, cut bait on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's right now. That's probably the best. Whether it's cut mullet, whether it's cut ladyfish, whether it's cut pinfish, doesn't matter. Cut bait on the bottom.
Right.
You get it near them, they're going to eat.
Yeah, the one thing I've done several times, I do it with my granddaughters a lot when they come up, is like I'll buy a couple bags of frozen shrimp, and we catch some ladyfish or pinfish. I'll use them as cut bait, but I'll always grab a few live shrimp too, and I'll get I like an incoming this time of year obviously because the water's a little cooler, so I'll set up tide and I will chum pretty heavy, on the uptide side of whatever structure I'm fishing. But a lot of times it's a point, it's a grass point, it's an oyster point, rock points, and let that smell from that shrimp and everything just kind of matriculate down along the edge. And it seems like it takes a little while, but the reds will, if they're in the area, they will find it. You got to be patient with it. But it seems like one of the most consistent ways to get them to bite. And usually if they're coming there, they're smelling it, they're coming there to eat.
Most of them right now, though, like I said, you find some of those deeper rocks. There's some reds there.
Mm-hmm.
You pull it, and one thing I've been throwing more is gold spoon. There's a lot of floating grass out there, and I want to throw top water. Yes.
God, I don't think I've caught a fish on gold spoon this year, and I threw the crap out of them.
Yeah, I am right now.
Tough. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Honestly, it's just wanted something that wouldn't grass up as quick. Miradines actually have been pretty good, but
you can't throw them.
You can't hardly throw them.
Yeah.
Topwater bites actually been pretty good. But you can't hardly throw it.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 tugs and it's gone.
So pretty much any red that's been coming in has either been on a Panhandle Moon rigged weedless or a gold spoon.
Are you seeing them first or just throwing the rocks blind?
Well, now I'm mainly throwing out them blind because I have seen them there, and I know that they were there.
When did now start? I think his now is floating. He went looked at his brain and went, well, now. It was like last Thursday or Tuesday or whatever.
I saw him last Tuesday, but now we're just blind casting at him.
Well, and they do move around.
Areas.
They do move around.
Yeah.
However, they're not moving real far.
No, and
I'm catching mine blind, and I'm using a cork to call him, and they have been slow. Even the better ones have been a slow bite. They're not trying to take the rod out of your hand or whatever. They're taking their time getting that live pinfish. And I didn't cut any because I'm caught plenty on the live. But
well, and that's the thing. Like you're calling them with a cork. You throw a cut bait down there. What's calling them? All the bait fish is coming to eat your cut bait.
Yeah, they're hearing all that flutter over there, and they smell some of it. I'm sure.
They smell it. They see the flash and flutter. They feel the vibration. All those bait fish attacking it.
And I've always, even when I fished down south more, or when I was down there, in the summertime especially, pinfish 100% for redfish over a whitebait or anything like that. Yeah. They just even cut any of it. You cut a sardine and you cut a pinfish and lay them out there, they're going to eat that pinfish 100% of the time over that whitebait.
Well, you look at the bait that's out there right now, there's unreal amount of pinfish. They're everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're in a foot of water or 10 feet of water, there's just thousands and thousands of pinfish.
They're eating all the scallops.
Yeah. There's been a fair amount of shrimp in closer.
Oh, we need some food up there for sure.
Well, there's definitely been some crabs because the little bit of stuff I'm seeing inside a trout stomach has been blue crab. But there's been very little, and some shrimp.
I'd say, is that normal for the trout to eat crabs like that?
If that's all there is for him to eat,
yeah.
Eat it. But no, you don't see very many. I'll see if I've seen, I'd call it 1/5%.
Yeah.
1 out of 500 will have a crab in it.
And most of the time when I see crab, it's been the big ones.
Yeah.
Because they're like a redfish at that point.
They're just going to eat something, a big meal.
I'm seeing crab parts and slot fish.
Maybe we just got a lot of crabs around. It's easy food for them. It might be like a pet. It might be the only food out there that they can easily catch. Yeah,
without being seen.
Yep.
We have a lot of little pinfish right now. I don't know if you've seen it, but in shallow, there's a lot of little
Yeah.
pinfish.
You know why? Because the trout are not catching them. I'm trying. Yeah, I was just hoping one of y'all was going to say it, so I wouldn't have to jump in there. But the reason you have a spot load, just a mess load, is that they're not getting eaten as food because they can outrun the damn fish that are after them.
Yeah.
They see them coming, and so they're becoming the predominant bait. The fall fishing ought to be outstanding.
I
if
was
we
just
can
going to
get
ask
some
you if they
rain.
can be good.
Oh
or bad.
yeah. This fall, I mean, it ought to be on fire.
Yeah.
They because they think they can live anywhere all the time. Well, get some dirty water in there. That's why I'm pinfish catching those reds. Those reds are the only thing I'm seeing moving after. Because when I see a movement, it's not a trout, it's a red.
Mm-hmm.
If I see a minnow come out of the water, I can throw over there and catch that fish, and it's a redfish.
Mhm.
It's not a trout, and that makes sense.
But the fishing still, I mean, you're gonna have your bad days, you're gonna have your good days, like any
Well, it's
any summertime.
Yeah.
You know, the nice thing about summertime is you do have options. You know, and something a lot of people doesn't like talking about is shark fishing is great this time of year. If you want to shark
Especially the
fish.
scalpers.
I'll tell you a story, but I had two boys from Tennessee working the shutdown, and they kept bothering me. They were down here for 3 weeks, and they kept bothering me about sharks. And I said, I tell you what I'll do. I will take y'all shark fishing, but I've got one rule and one rule only. You will do exactly what I say, and you won't do anything on your decision. You won't make a decision. You will do everything as I say, exactly as I tell you to keep it y'all safe. I don't like to do it because it's not safe fishing. So I took 2 4-aughts and 1 6-aught, and I had a big rod on the 6-aught. All right, and I mean a reel. The 6-aught was on a hell of a rod, and I've got 5-foot leaders on the 2 4-aughts. Okay, and I've got 10-foot leader wire. Well, we're out there, and I went up to the trough in front of Warrior. Of course, people didn't go up there then, you know. And I had a 19-foot boat. I didn't have my Parker. And I got my chum. I kept the chum for 4 or 5 trips. I had 3 48-quart coolers full of trout bodies. You could keep 10 trout a person. So I had 30 trout on every trip that I made. So 4 times that's 120 trout bodies that I'm chumming with, right? And I would set them out without any ice so they cook. So it's right. And I look up, and here comes a damn pontoon boat. And it doesn't have 3 children on it. It doesn't have 6 children on it. It's got like 12. And he pulls up right in my chum slick, right in the slick. And I'm anchored, you know, and hey, he ain't got a radio antenna. No. And so I said, this ought to be cute. And so they start, here goes one after another, these young'uns in the water. Boom, boom.
Oh my God.
He's got 12 young'uns in the water, and I'm looking at 3 fins. I'm looking at 2 black tips, a bull shark, and I think is a hammerhead. And we caught a shark. And I got my air horn, and I said, now on 3, I want y'all to hold him up. And I held that 4 or 5 foot shark up. And 2 of the children closest to me turned into egg, just back to the boat to tell Grandpa. And you should have seen the water, them kids getting out of the water. Hey, and about that time, I said, there he is. And this 9-foot hammerhead
Oh,
goes
geez.
right by my boat and then turns and goes after the children. And I watched the fin and I watched the kids, and I said, God, I hope they make it. Because there wasn't anything I could do about it. If I cranked up and gone over there, I just made it worse on the chum line. But anyway, my boys didn't listen to me when I told them, don't put the 4-aughts out now. We got that big shark. We got to have a 10-foot leader. We can catch him with the 5-foot leader. I no sooner said it, turned around, and the boys hooked up, and he put the 4-aught out in front of him.
Mm.
Oh,
And I let it whoop his butt for about 30 minutes. And I made him bring and then I said, okay, we're going in. He says, why? We didn't get, I said, well, you did exactly what I told you not to. I told you not to do anything I didn't tell you to and to follow every rule I made. And I had told him, do not put them out. But that pontoon boat, you never seen it go that fast. When he got them all on the boat, he went back south out of sight.
Yeah.
But he knew that it was Catch and Pat over there, and he thought we were scalloping in that ditch.
Mhm.
You know, that's a big damn hole.
Well, they say shark makes good scallops. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one thing with shark fishing that if you're going to do it, and it doesn't matter, and I've watched 1,000 people do this, never, ever, ever, ever grab them and lift them up by the tail.
No.
And I don't know how many people.
It's
I've
just a
watched
solid muscle.
Yep. You will, if you want to get bit on the forearm, lift a shark up by, those little black tips, those little bonnet heads, those little
All of them will lift
foot,
you.
all of them will do it. But I mean, you got to be pretty good to lift a big one, but you lift those little 3-foot ones up there, he will wind up attached to you right there.
Yeah, he'll light you up, and he'll mess you up.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's where that's from right there.
Yeah.
You held one up.
Yeah, I don't even bother when I do shark fish. Very rarely do I ever even bother trying to get the hook out. I usually snip it because they'll get it out.
I don't boat them. I don't
boat them.
We got that one up to get those kids out of the water because I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
If I had gone over there with my boat, those sharks that were on me would have followed me over there to them.
Especially the bull shark.
But it is a lot of fun. I mean, and it's probably underrated. You take a black tip or spinner shark, especially on some light tackle that jump and spin. And
Yep. They are a lot of fun. They make strong runs. And like I said, the bull sharks are probably my least favorite because they don't do. That's like hooking to a Volkswagen.
And he might go a half a mile before he stops.
Yeah.
Lemons are the same way.
Yeah, black tips though. Black tips are probably my favorite.
Man, they are fun. Black tips and spinners.
Yeah, because they launch. They're fast. I mean, they scream drag. It's almost like catching a tarpon.
Yeah,
it's very, very similar.
And I like going out there with like an 8,000 spinning reel and just having fun.
Yeah, and the cool thing with sharks, like if you do it like what Pat was doing, you start chumming, you get them behind you and everything, and you can watch them come in. And you see them, then all of a sudden you just see that float. If you're using a float, you see that float just away. And
I use a balloon, so it
pops
balloons.
Yeah, balloons. Yeah, and
I hadn't done it. That was the end of my trout fishing. I think I took one other person locally out, but I think that's 2 trips in 30-something years. I just don't do it because people. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
People get stupid. They don't listen to you.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and they want to take a picture of him.
Everybody wants a picture of the shark.
and I'm saying we're not going to pick them up.
Or they want to feel the skin. Hey, that's for them.
Yeah.
When I catch one, I always hold him and get them to do that business, and I'd say, this is what we call a liver eater. I said his nose is pointed so that when he bites a hole in you, he can go in and get your liver. I said he only likes to eat your liver, and I said, run your finger here. I said, watch this when you try to touch his eye. Yeah. See, that's so that he doesn't get any liver in his eye while he's eating your liver. And I said, now, when you rush your hand this way, that's to keep him from backing out, because once he get a mouth of that liver, he wants to eat
He wants to stay right there.
He wants to stay right there. And they go, do you want to touch him? No.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. And so I toss him overboard.
We're trying to get repeat business here.
Well, something else is fun. If you're out shark fishing, you got a chum slick out. What else comes around?
Oh, cobia and stingrays.
Big stingrays. Yeah. And stingrays are a blast.
Well, stingrays are a hammerhead's favorite
story
food.
Too.
Yeah.
That's the hammerhead and the bull shark's favorite food, besides turtles.
I can tell you one thing. Don't ever try and gaff a stingray in the wing.
In the wind?
In the wing.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't bring them out of the water either.
I had a good friend that just had to have a picture of a big one, and we had a 6-foot gaff. And he's standing on the side of the John boat. I pulled him up, and he gaffed that thing right in the wing, and he had about a foot of the gaff below where he's holding it right here. And I mean, that gaff hit him about 6 times right here, and he was bloody from his forehead to his chin. And I was laughing just like you because it was the funniest thing I ever seen as he fell down in the boat.
And they are some strong creatures.
They're immensely strong.
And they're unpredictable. You don't know what he's fixing to do.
Yep.
And that's fine.
They change directions and all that stuff.
He can kill you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So I took some people out shark fishing a couple of years ago, and the video's on YouTube. But we had a half a mullet, a big mullet, big half a mullet, threw it out there on 8,000. And we put the chum out. We're sitting there. We sent the drone up in the air to get some footage. I think it was 17 sharks on that sandbar.
Wow.
Good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, that rod,
Stingray.
100-pound stingray.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a giant animal.
Oh, yeah.
That'll wear somebody out. It's, summertime, you've got, obviously we always fish for, we're trying to typically catch the I almost said snook, the redfish, the trout, the flounder, all that kind of stuff, sea bass. I mean, this time of year, there's so much. I mean, you got all the mackerel, you got bluefish,
Yep.
The grouper, there's plenty of grouper in close. You got the sharks, the stingrays, ladyfish, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's all available. And like I said, if you start in the morning. This time of year, I always would start early because you want to be out there, when it's cooler. Your bite's probably going to be better. And if what you're after, the redfish or the trout, or they turn off in the heat, you just start moving out and just
bend the rod, have fun.
Just catch what's biting. Don't be a fishing elitist.
So
It's like trying to fly fish in the summertime.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
So we had a comment come in, Greg, for you from Christopher Such. Said, "Tell the stingray story, Greg."
I just
Oh, that was it?
That was it.
it?
Yeah. Chris has been on my boat a lot, so I've told that story a few times. It was I can still see it. The kid's name was Pat. He was a good friend of mine, and it was
McGriff?
No, because Pat's got a crooked nose now. I can tell you that from that evening. But he had to. What he wanted to bring it in because it was so big. It was like you said. It was like 6 foot across, and he wanted to bring it in to get a picture of it at the boat. We were like 16, 17, and we used to put in at the ramp there at Gulf Harbors in the private ramp.
Yep.
So we were going to bring it in there and take a picture of it, and whatever. And God, it was like I said, that thing hit him. And he literally just kind of staggered and fell in the bottom of the John boat. And I couldn't even help him. I was laughing so hard. I mean, I was rolling on the floor.
So as we start wrapping up, let's talk about weather. It's summertime. You can pretty much bank on nearly every day being a chance of storms, especially in the afternoon. It's just going to get worse and worse the hotter it gets.
Yeah. The one thing, always make sure you've got plenty of water on the boat.
Yep.
And plenty of ice.
And rain gear.
Well, rain gear, but I mean,
Yeah, I know.
heat exhaustion,
Heat exhaustion.
dehydration is a real thing this time of year, especially with the temperatures we've had the last couple of weeks. I mean, I know it's been really hot here. The whole West Coast has been, temperatures, feels like temperatures in the mid 1-teens.
And this time of year, I'm bad about not drinking enough because I stay busy. And
You don't think about it.
I don't think about it. And then I get home and I'm up till midnight trying to recover.
Yeah. Start shivering.
And then I'll have to call second wind hydration and get IV.
Yep. Yeah. And the other thing, like you said, with the weather is just always watch because it comes up quick. If you see those clouds starting to get puffy and you feel that sea breeze kick in, it's coming. You just got to keep an eye on it and remember that, the front line of those storms are no joke.
No, and typically this time of year they build on land, they stay on land. Typically, because of that, the land heating up and it pulling everything from the water.
But you still get the wind from it.
But there's always that chance that it flips, and this happened a few years ago. We were out there scalloping. I was on my second trip that day, and I look up, and so you can watch. For those of you that don't know, a lot of you probably do. You can watch these storm clouds build because they'll build up.
Yep.
They'll just get taller, and get big.
Just look like mushrooms.
And they're just getting. You see that it's fixing to get nasty.
Yeah.
And this was happening, but it was all on land. The wind was blowing out of the west.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, this is going to stay on land. All of a sudden, that wind shifted, and I told my crew, "So we got to go. We got to go now." Because it looked nasty. And so they got in the boat and we took off. I was going as fast as I can. And I'll never forget this. As I was running that way,
Felt like you drove into a refrigerator.
Well, yeah. But as I was going that way, and I'm getting towards Piney Point, I see an airboat going out.
Yeah.
And it was going out like towards in the direction of 9 Mile Sandbar.
Mhm.
And I thought, is this boat really going to try to run around this storm? And it had shifted. It shifted fast.
Yeah.
And we made it in, and I got a call late that night.
Yeah, I remember that a few years
know,
ago.
But that's one of those cases where, and even the Coast Guard, when they called me the next morning, and where they were telling me they were searching, I said, no, we were talking about the wind, and she just happened to tell me, well, the wind was out of the west, at such and such miles per hour. I said, no, the wind shifted. She said, well, we're not seeing that on any of our reports. I said, well, I'm telling you, I was on the water. It shifted.
Yeah.
Well, then that shifted their search patterns. But, that's just one of those cases where the weather's unpredictable.
You have to be vigilant of this time of year. If you're going to be out in the afternoon, I mean, if in the mornings, you're going to know. If you get out there and you feel a southwest or a west wind in the morning, look for storms coming off the Gulf, but they're usually not that bad.
No, and they normally fizzle out.
Yeah, it's the ones in the afternoon you have to really keep an eye on.
Usually.
Usually. Not always. But, I mean, you should always be watching the weather anyway, and like I said, it's just not worth taking a chance. I mean,
no.
If you've got to run 3-4 miles, 3-4 miles in a 30 to 40 knot wind is not comfortable,
No.
especially in a small boat.
And the big thing, never run out offshore to try to outrun a storm. Never. If
Go
anything,
as far as you can and anchor up.
If anything, run into it.
Yep.
Get to land.
Yeah.
Get to shallower water.
Yeah. And don't play with lightning.
Yeah.
Put all the rods down.
Yeah, and I have had people in the past get upset with me because if there's lightning within 15 miles, we're
it's
done.
just not
we're,
worth it.
We're good. It's over.
Yeah.
Because lightning can travel a long ways in the water.
Mhm.
The impacts of lightning.
It is, and I mean, this time of year, you get a lot of lightning, and it's like I said, it's just something you don't play with. As a younger guide, I would stay out. I mean, we've all had it. The time you cast out and your line just floats. And you're like, wow, that's pretty cool.
All the
Until the hair on your arm standing up. It's like not so cool anymore.
Hey.
But I mean, it's just not worth it.
It's also why I don't typically run 2 trips a day anymore.
Yeah.
For one,
This time of year.
You may need that extra time this time of year. And you can't give proper customer service. I don't care what anyone says.
No.
And then I had to cancel too many second trips because of the weather.
Yeah. Yep.
And last minute cancellation.
Yeah.
Right.
When they're sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to do. I've never been, the only time I'd run doubles in the spring because weather's a little bit easier. And then we ran them during tarpon season. But even, it's this time of year. I mean, tarpon, we'd lose a lot of them, they'd get cut short. I mean, and the bad thing is it makes you take chances that you probably shouldn't.
Yep.
It's like, I can remember times driving out looking at water spouts saying, yeah, we're okay. And I mean, we shouldn't be. But.
Yep. Well, not sure. We've been talking about, changing some things up, and there's going to be some more content coming out, especially throughout the week. Some tackle tips. We're going to be doing some videos. We're going out here soon to do some videos on the water, and try to change things up a little bit. So we'll update you guys.
Give away all the secrets.
All the secrets, because it doesn't matter. We could put an X on the map, and most people's not going to catch them anyways. But
we're going to get Pat to write a book. That's what we're going to do.
Before we say that, Brad Lee had a tip. He said, try the snag-proof Zoo Dog top water plug. Pretty much completely weedless, shaped like a Spook Junior or One Knocker.
Zoo Dog?
Does it have hooks?
The Zoo Dog top water plug.
Made by who? Snag?
I've never heard of it.
Snag?
No. He said it's try the snag-proof Zoo Dog top water plug.
So it is snag proof. They built a frog back in the 70s.
Zoo Dog?
ZOO or
ZOO. ZOO. Now everyone's
Yeah, everybody's looking at it. There it is. Oh yeah, look at that. It's kind of like the old frog. They got looks like the hook kind of laid up in the.
It is.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I can still see. I mean, yeah.
It's
It-
gonna be. It's definitely gonna be less than treble hook.
Oh yeah,
For
100%. That's interesting. It looks a lot like the frogs did. I wonder if is it a hard body or it must be a hard.
No,
body.
it can't.
It's got to be soft.
Yeah, I would think it's
It's going to be a tube.
Yeah.
A closed
Hmm.
tube.
That's cool.
It's bone. That'll catch fish.
So, Paul about the fishing already put a link on in
Oh.
the comments, so
There you go.
you guys can check it out.
Zoo Dog.
Zoo Dog.
Sounds like a rapper.
Yeah.
Zoo Dog.
We gonna get Pat to start rapping. That's gonna be our intro next.
There you
go. Pat's gonna come in rapping.
Pat with the Zoo Dog.
Pat the Zoo Dog McGriff.
Yeah. Okay.
You gonna get you a jacket with some bling on it.
Don't hold your breath.
Brad Lee said yes, it's a soft bait.
Cool.
Well, we got to get up and fish in the morning,
Yep.
so we're gonna hop off of here. And you guys have anything last minute to share?
That's nope.
You got any
We,
you got any openings? You can put people on some fish. I know I do.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. If anybody's looking to go fishing, I mean, now it's hot, but I mean, like we were saying, there's plenty of fish to be caught. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a trip Sunday and Monday. So
gonna
next
rain
week.
Sunday,
When are we
Monday.
going? We're going to do this next week or skip 2 or what are we doing?
I don't think he's here next week.
Yeah, I won't be here next week.
Where are you going to be?
My mom is going up north to visit some family, and she asked if we could house sit for her.
Oh, watch her house.
Yeah,
House sit.
the dog and bird.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that. She's never been one to really get away, and her and my brother's going to see some family.
Well, that's great.
So
So
But-
2 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get you to tell the.
yeah,
Public.
we'll update everyone on the.
Yeah, we're gonna
Man.
start putting better. We're gonna be better at scheduling and putting it out there and everything like
Yeah,
that.
which I put it out there today.
Yeah. But we're gonna give more than a day's notice now.
Yeah, we
Try and
will.
get on a
We
set
will.
schedule
We
to
are.
where we can do it.
You know, and
We're cracking the whip.
and you know, we have discussed, Greg and I discussed this, if you know, maybe we need to do some videos that we can put out for weeks when we're not
Mhm.
able to be live. You know, so there's going to be more content coming
Yeah.
all the way around. So, and Pat, he just goes with the flow. So,
We're just gonna interview Pat. It's gonna be one of those things when you're driving down the road, kind of like you put it on the pod. It's gonna be the Pat podcast.
speaking of podcasts,
Yep,
it's coming. We've already recorded one with Pat.
the Pat podcast.
It was a good one too.
It was. How could
So-
it not be?
All right.
We will see you guys next
We'll
time.
see y'all some Thursday.
Thank you.
We'll see you on a Thursday.
Some Thursday.
A Thursday coming soon.